Hey, folks, Geometeorologist Nick Lilly here with your tropical update for July 19th of 2018, brought to you by the good folks at Tropical Pool and Spa. Big thanks to them for helping us out with bringing this to you guys every single day, twice a day. You go one in the morning, one in the afternoon and evening. We got you guys updated about what's happening out here in the tropics. And I will say, if you're watching this and you are not from South Mississippi, you're not in the WDAM viewing area, because I'm going to post this online. You can download the WDAM app, even if you're not from South Mississippi. We're in Hattiesburg. We're right here. Even if you're not in South Mississippi, because we do this again twice a day, this is not South Mississippi centric. It may be once anything, if anything, forms, but generally speaking, we cover it all. Temperatures out there in the 80s, water temps in the Gulf of Mexico in the mid to upper 80s. You get back down into the mid 80s as you get into the Caribbean, and then the low 80s as you head out into the open Atlantic. We are in kind of late July, so we are starting to warm the waters up a little further out to the point where we do need to start watching for waves out here, tropical waves. But there's nothing out there right now. In fact, everything is close to home. Showers, thunderstorms just off the Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi, Louisiana coast into the Gulf of Mexico. Kind of loosely associated with something that's maybe going to try and develop as it kind of sneaks out and into the Atlantic and then kind of jets up the coast on kind of the tail end of a front. Some of the models are indicating as we head through tomorrow, the next day, and the day after, through the weekend, that there may be some semblance of an area of low pressure that tries to get moving off the coast of maybe the Carolinas. We'll have to keep some eyeballs on that through the next couple of days. Down into the Gulf, we've got some time before we've got to worry about anything. Of course, off the coast of Africa, the waves are coming. It's just not really doing anything. The water temperature out here just isn't warm enough to sustain some of these waves as they come off as far north as they've been recently. They've been kind of parallel with the Cape Verde Islands here, where a little bit earlier in the year when Beryl came off, Beryl was a little further down off to the south. So it was in that warmer water that's, you know, just a little further off to the south of the Cape Verde Islands. Now, back in behind this, is there any more waves? Well, we've got one or two out there. But generally things have calmed down. We can go back to the water vapor and try and pick out where there's high pressure, low pressure troughing happening. You know, a little bit of shear perhaps, maybe right out here into the open Atlantic. We also have all that Saharan dust to deal with that's out there. That is why, by the way, you've got all this dry air, all that orange colored dry air. Taking it over to our 700 millibar moisture 850 vorticity map. And for those of you that are seeing this for the first time, we're looking for vorticity at 850 millibars. Those are the warmer colors when you get from greens to yellows to oranges to reds. And all that is that's low-level spin in the atmosphere. Well, if you've got low-level spin, chances are you've got an area of low pressure closer to the surface. And then you say, okay, cool, what's this 700 millibar moisture mean? Well, if you've got low-level spin and some showers and thunderstorms, that means you've got moisture that's being pulled from the surface aloft. Well, if you've got moisture at 700 millibars and that's kind of around an area of low pressure, you probably have showers and thunderstorms. Okay, sweet. That's kind of a proxy that we can use to figure out if there's anything to worry about. Well, so we just gray out all the areas that don't have moisture. Well, we're not worried about that. If there's no thunderstorms there, we're not going to have to worry much about tropical development. So we say, okay, we'll just gray everything out. And sometimes that grayed out grays over some of these areas of low-level rotation. Why? Well, it can rotate all at once, but if there's no thunderstorms, we don't really care. All right, so now that we know what that's all about, look at this. As we head through the next couple of days, we are dry across parts of the Gulf of Mexico, dry into the Caribbean, dry out into the open Atlantic. I'll take it, man. In July, there's nothing but good news with that, because it means that we're going to squash any chances that we see development. This is through Monday and into Tuesday. This is interesting. We get an area of low pressure. We got a ridge to the west and a ridge to the east. We get an area of low pressure that kind of sags into the Gulf of Mexico. This is something we're going to have to watch down here closely through the next couple of days for rain chances, sure, showers, thunderstorms for Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. But how far south this makes it and how long it sticks around to the south is going to be something that is going to be watched very closely by a lot of us meteorologists down here along the Gulf Coast from Tampa all the way back to probably Houston, because this is going to kind of drift back to the west. And again, how far south it goes is going to dictate what characteristics it may or may not kind of develop as we head through the middle of next week. Now, outside of that, is there anything looking out into the open ocean? And the answer is not really. We got plenty of dry air out here. This little vorticity that you see in the northern sections of South America is that's just kind of natural. It's always there. But really, through the next few days, outside of that stuff that's just spinning around just off the coast of Florida, associated with that area of low pressure, there's really not much out there to report right now, which is okay. For me, it's good news on my end, at least, because I don't have to report to anybody that you got anything out there to worry about. So there's your tropical update for July 19th of 2018, brought to you by the good folks at Tropical Pool and Spa.